Okay, so hi guys, welcome to Ustream. If this is the first time you've ever been on Ustream or the first video you've ever watched of mine, then to ask questions you have to ask through Skype, which is Lisa Cairns 12. So you need to write to me through Skype. Hey Ramona! And I do these talks every Sunday at 6 p.m. French time and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. French time, and you speak to me through Skype. And you need to have a headset when you speak to me through Skype, as otherwise it gets a bit echoey. Or you can write me questions on Skype. Okay, and I'm going to read my events. So my next up and coming event is sorry, I just have to find the events page. The 17th and 18th of December in London, the United Kingdom. Then after that, I do talks in Tiruvannamalai, India, the 30th of December to the 20th of January. So I do one talk a day. And then in Cairns, Spain, I do a retreat from the 4th of March to the 11th of March. And then I do another retreat in Saint Antoine Nobervel, France, the south of France, the 16th of June to the 23rd of June. And I'm going to publish another online event that we did this Saturday soon. And that was really quick. That was really popular and booked out. So make sure you book that one quickly. And I'm going to be doing more online events like that because I'm going to stop traveling so much. This year I haven't traveled that much, but the year before, I mean, I have traveled a lot this year, but the year before I traveled a lot more. So I am going to stop be doing that. Well, she says, and then she travels loads. Yeah. And you guys from America, there's so many people asking me to go to America, and there is a possibility that I will go next year and do a retreat in Oregon. But come over to Europe. Europe is so much better than America. It's so amazing here. I mean, this is where your roots are from, so surely you should come and see your roots. Most people's roots. A lot of people's roots are in America. Okay, get off that subject, Lisa. You're going to start having some complaints. But yeah, come over. I try to do them so they're not in peak holiday season, so they're not super expensive flights. Especially if you're on the East Coast, it's not very far. Yeah, East Coast. That is all I have to say about that. Hey, Mike. Nice to see you, Mike. Do you know, the last time I think I saw you, Mike Welsh, was in Stansted Airport, and we didn't say goodbye to each other. We just thought that we'd see each other, and then it just kind of we separated. Nice to see you, Mike. Hi, Aspan. No one can be enlightened by eating bananas. Yes, very good for you, the banana. You see, I was trying to encourage people to eat the banana. Very good for you. Maybe not so good for the environment. I can't imagine that they grow in Europe. Hi, Ricarda. Hi, Jason. Hi, Tanya. Hi, awareness. Awareness. It's like the Loch Ness monster, but instead of that, you're awareness. You're an awareness monster. in America lives these Trump people. Yeah, yeah. Maybe I've started some American bashing. Sorry, guys, in America. I am kind of scared to go to the USA. Me too. Hi, Lisa. I mean, any society that's allowed to carry guns is, I mean, that's quite scary. When I go out in hunting season in Europe and I see people carrying their guns, it's just such a bizarre sight. It really is. Actually, and to be honest, the only time I've seen it was in Carolina, North Carolina, that I saw people with their holsters on. It's so weird. But you know, in Europe we speak many different languages, which is equally weird. Why everyone in Europe doesn't just adopt English like they should, I don't know. I'm just going for everyone tonight. There are going to be no viewers left. Awareness monster. Lisa, hey, Isabel! Izzy. Incident, see you in London next month. Ah, nice, Mike, to see you there. Hey, Anol. Bonjour from California. Bonjour, Anol. Hi, Andrew. Spoken like a true Brit. Yeah. Let's see who's on Skype. Hi, Ramona. Oh, I didn't see that message. Monday. Oh, sorry, sweetie. What a sweet message, Ramona. No idea album. Hi from Adelaide. Oh, hey, Steve. Hi, Lisa. Hope you're well. Can you tell me your Skype number, please? This is it, Steve. Trying not to be sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic. This is it, Steve. You can just call. So there's a you can call me. I know Skype can have telephone numbers as well, but you can just press call up in the top boxes. Hi, Ricarda. You just bought vegan nail polish. Very nice. What's my sound like? Is my sound good? Let's prepare Skype. Decrease volume. There was something bizarre in the settings yesterday or last week, whenever it was that we last did the stream. Audio. Hello. Advance. Pause. Oh, Steve, sorry, Steve, I've been confusing. I meant just call, but just give me a few minutes just to do a bit of an introduction, and then I'll call you, or you can call me, whichever way it goes. But just I'll give people a bit of an introduction. You know, you could keep people happy. They come here, they pay their money, and they expect an introduction. So here I am. I just have to wait. It's so funny. I have no idea what's going to come, and then suddenly it will come out with such a force. Like I'm sitting here, and the last thing I'm thinking about is non-duality or what to say. You just have to sit there, and then it's like when you have to remember a name, and when you try to remember it, you can't think of it. But then when you stop thinking about it, it just comes. It's like that. I'm just sat here, and then Mop. Got this big warning sign saying unsupported resolution. You need to change the video resolution. Now it's gone. Now I'm perfect. Funny. Oh, I got a big red warning sign. Funny. Warning, warning. So this really is about coming back to what's happening, and So there's such the image of Jesus on the cross is such a beautiful image. Let's see if I can find two straight things to cross here. So if you imagine it like that, and then Jesus' body's on the cross, and basically this, from what I understand, this line here is meant to represent the horizontal, which is the life going in time. So that's like the movement, not really going in time, but it's like the movement of things. So the horizontal is like the movement, life happening. This seems to be happening. There seems to be a life going on. You could say maybe the relative world. And then here is the vertical, which you could call the godly, which you could call is the no-thingness, is the stillness, which knows everything. And they meet in the middle. So they meet perfectly in the middle. And if you see Jesus on the cross, his hands go there, his head goes up here. And this is where his heart falls forward, this point. And so lately I've been harping on about acting from your heart. And you think that I most probably mean what they mean in spirituality, where it's acting from your personal heart. But I actually mean the heart of life. And I think that Ramana talked about this as well, but I wouldn't even dare to quote him because I never really read any of his books. But, you know, I have Facebook, so I see quotes. But I think Ramana spoke about life coming from the heart. And he actually, I think, said, I did actually read a few of his books. I'm sorry. I put myself down sometimes. I did. I remember now. And he used to say that it came like the whole of life sprung in from the left side of the heart. And I can understand in a way why he'd say that, but all of that's not so important. What's important is the seeing this boundlessness, not you seeing it, but coming forward so that everything is appearing in the stillness. Everything is made of the stillness. This whole life is a life of that stillness watching itself appear in movement through these bodies. And it springs into life out of love. As it springs into life, you could call that amness, that sense of being. The first thing that comes in is the sense of being alive. And that's total and utter love. Love, not for any reason, not for something, not because somebody did something or because you got something, but love for absolutely no reason, just the love of being, the simple love of what's happening. That's the nature of all things. As soon as that stillness manifests, it manifests as love. The human doesn't feel like that because what happens in the human is because of the intelligent thinking, it separates and believes that it's something moving in time, and this creates suffering in humans. That they believe they're a dualistic story that is moving through a separate world, which isn't true at all. And this is such a beautiful exploration, and it's not something that I can wrap up perfectly into a sentence and say this is what Nonduality is here. What happens is it begins to be heard more and more, but not by you. The clouds of you begin to clear, and that perfect, brilliant stillness shines forward. Another way you could say it is you could see it like light. And this is a way that I said it on Facebook the other day, is you can imagine this paper bag. So you imagine having a paper bag. Let me do this for you, 1 sec. You thought you were coming for non-duality, but you're actually coming for creative arts. So I'm just going to cut this bag a little bit smaller because it's a bit big. I know you environmentalists are mostly politics, but I destroyed a perfectly healthy bag, but you know. there it goes. Okay. I'm just going to poke some holes in this bag of different shapes. You can see what I'm doing now. I'm just cutting gently nice little circles. You could have those as eyes as well. So I'm just going to cut some more. So you can try this at home. Just get yourself some paper. Okay, so I've cut lots of holes in the bag. So imagine that these holes represent bodies. So that this one is Joanna, this one is Alexandra, this one is Mohammed, this one is Susan, this one here is Jacob. So these are all bodies, like imagine them as bodies. Imagine this as human bodies that are looking at this life. And then this light, I need to turn out all the other lights. This light I'm going to shine represents... Oh, I forgot to put my speakers in so none of you could hear me. So this light that I'm going to put behind it represents beingness or aliveness, that which is watching. So these are the human bodies, so these are your eyes. These are your eyes. Now we say your eyes, but they're not actually your eyes. They're simply the looking mechanism that's used to look at this world. And this light is who you truly are, the watcher, the experiencer. And you see how it's one light, but it looks out of many holes. It seems to be favouring one there. I think that was Joanna that it favours. It's hard to... I need to get distance. Okay, so... Well, this is harder than it looks. Huh. Ah, there we go. That's why they put the bag around the light. So you see, the light is shining through all the holes and is looking out of... I'll put my microphone back in. So the light is looking through all the holes, and that's liveness, that's the beingness, looking through multiple holes. And the brain is the whole. So the brain is there, and the brain is only interpreting that one particular experience. But who you truly are is looking through multiple holes simultaneously. And it can do that because it doesn't have a brain, it doesn't have a specific thing it is, it doesn't have a memory. All it's doing is experiencing itself. It's just so beautiful. That's so wonderful. So you really have to put the bag around the light. You know, when I tried to do it a different way, it didn't work. And that's what life is like. That's what beingness is like. Beingness is looking through all these holes, which are the bodies, having an experience multiply of this whole world of life. And that's where you are, that which is looking, that which is experiencing itself. That's where you are, that's who you are, that stillness which looks through. And that light never moves. It never gets involved with anything in the dream. The person might be dreaming that it's really real and that this is a hellish experience or a wonderful experience or a scary experience, but that light is never affected, no matter what the whole is projecting or the whole is interpreting. The whole is in the hole in the bag, not wholeness. That could be confusing. All suffering comes from that misidentification with believing that you are this body, the hole in the bag, which is being looked through. But you are that boundless space which is looking at everything, which is so beautiful. And it never left. No matter how much you suffer, no matter how agony you are there, God is looking always silently. Always. Never left. Never disregarded anything, never rejected anything. It's the person that rejects it. And while that person has the misidentification, it's always seeking for that God in time. It's always seeking for that freedom in time. And you'll never find the freedom in time. It's right here in the stillness. So if you imagine the cross, if we go back to the image of the cross, so Jesus dying on the cross. So some of you are just tuned in, you think, what the hell is this crazy lady doing? She's a witch. She's a witch. She sure is. So imagine the cross and it meets in the middle. That is the light. That's where the light is. The light isn't found in the horizontal line of time, but it is in a way that it's there in the appearances, in what's happening, but it's not found in what's going to happen or what did happen. It's not found in one particular thing. It's the stillness of that movement. It's right here. It's so beautiful. And God's never rejected anything, no matter how evil or nasty or horrible you've been or are. No matter how beautiful or wonderful, that light never rejects anything. Everything is embraced by God. Everything. The human experiences heaven and hell and feels abandoned and lost and experiences the world of opposites, but you can only experience the world of opposites in the horizontal, and the horizontal never really exists. What exists is this moment, which is stillness appearing to be moving. This is love. This is love. It's so exciting. Hey, Nicholas Willoughby. Hey, Nicholas. So, Steve. Hi, Steve. I'm trying to call you now if you can hear. I said I would just do an introduction. Thanks, Andrea. Hey, Susan, I can see you're calling. Nice. But I said I would speak to Steve next. Oh, I have to put my scarf back on. It's chilly. I can do the demonstration of the light thing again. Next time I'll be prepared and I'll bring a torch. I was a little bit unprepared with my tools, spontaneous. That's what happens when you're spontaneous. You ain't got the right tools. Oh, I missed Steve when I was talking to myself. Hey, Steve. Oh. Hi, Steve.
Hiya.
Hey.
Shall I turn your sound off? Because I've got you on computer as well. I'll turn that sound off, yeah?
Yeah, if you turn the live stream, the YouTube off, or the volume off, that's better. And then you should be able to see me on Skype.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see me?
I can't. Nope, I can't. I can see SH.
That's me. Right.
Yeah, shh.
I'm going to ring you if I wanted to, and I didn't know how to get through with Skype.
Yeah.
I've finally got through, and now I don't know what to say.
That's often the case. Don't worry. If you find that you've got nothing to say now, we can move on, or we can just sit and see if something comes.
Yeah, I'll say something. I'll have 2 minutes anyway now. I will just listen to. I've listened to you over the last few years. I've been into it approximately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say about 7 years.
Oh, nice.
And I flip flop about. When I'm feeling. When I'm feeling okay, let's say when I'm feeling okay, I can get into that realm where am I in it or is it in me? I feel like it's all inside me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think, oh yeah, something's happening here. And then when I go off it, I think it's a load of bollocks,
Yeah.
But then I'll come back to it, blah, blah, blah. And I listen to too many, I suppose, too many people. But when I hear you talking, sometimes when people ask you a question, you come back with it, and it's so not what I'd expect. I thought, well, she's not coming from the same place as me. I get what you're saying nearly all the time, I thought, well, somewhat's going on with this lass. I think it's distrust.
Yeah, yeah, and so what happens is that will be everywhere in your life, that distrust. It's not to do with non-duality. It will be appearing everywhere. And so when you're more contracted, so when you flop and you're not in that more open space and you feel more contracted, just your old issues will come up more intensely and they'll get projected onto non-duality. So there'll be a distrust of your experience. There'll be a distrust of the person speaking. It will do the same things, but distrust is actually a deeper issue than the actual feeling of distrust. The distrust comes from deep down, just the feeling of insecurity. It comes from separation, that you feel separate and inside this body, and it's an insecurity about being alive, feeling that you've got to control your life, which is untrue.
I'm trying not to. I do try not to control, but
I wouldn't even bother trying not to. Like, I wouldn't. Just be as you are in every moment. And if you feel like you're the controller, then just let that out. Because if you try not to, then you're almost fighting the initial urges. I would just recognize the urges that are coming up, and I would try to interfere as little as you can, but just recognize what they're saying and what they're doing, and just recognize that, so when you have that distrust, if you could just take 5 or 10 minutes alone, so when you're actually feeling the suffering, to just sit alone and realize that underneath that distrust you feel an insecurity about being alive. It doesn't mean that you have to trust every situation. It doesn't mean that you now have to go what's that thing when you jump off a mountain with wings?
Base jumping.
Base jumping, yeah. It's not like
I'd like to do that.
Actually, I would like to do it too, but I don't know if I'd actually jump. Once I went on this parachute thing, and when I actually got there, it was really hard jumping. When you're actually faced with the edge, you're like, can I go back down, please? Yeah, so I don't mean that you have to trust that sort of thing, or shut your eyes on the motorway in your car. And it's not it's not that sort of trust, because it's actually a very good functioning thing to, in a functional way, to not trust everything as a human body. Right. But I mean this as the absolute, and I mean it as this identity which suffers unrealistically because of it. It suffers when there's not danger in front of it, it suffers a lot of time because of this, and it's a repetitive issue that comes up. But I had a friend once who, when he got into this subject, I love all these stories of awakening, and he got into this subject, and he decided that he had to put it to the test, this trust thing. And so he used to go to the edge of the road, and he would shut his eyes, and then he would like cross the road with his eyes shut, or he'd walk round to his neighbours. He lived in the forest, and he'd walk round to his neighbours through the forest, but he would shut his eyes and see if life could guide him there. And then finally something happened, and he realised that was taking it in the wrong way, like that was taking it in the relative way, like rather than seeing that the suffering actually comes from the identification with being someone, and there comes the distrust. And it comes, when you're contracted, it's not always there, those thought processes and those feelings. It comes when you feel like you're in here, and then your particular patterns come. Your particular
ideas. I do try to let go and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let go, let God type of thing. I do.
Yeah.
I've been living that way for about 30 years, on and off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the best way.
I think the distrust, although I've always been a bit very insecure, really. But, dependent on people. I'm not so much today, I don't think. But I did get into a church early ago when I first sobered up 30 years ago. And I went into it hook, line and sinker.
Yeah.
And then it just went, I realised to me it was a load of nonsense. I went into it eventually, you know what I mean? I hope there's no one listening gets upset about that. But really, what a load of bollocks. And after that, I've had to sort of work my way through to normality, if you like.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I look back at that and I think, whoa, how did I fall for that one?
But how long were you in it for?
I was out about 4 years, but after the first 12 months, it was sort of, I was starting to see things that I thought, that's not true, that sort of stuff, and eventually it's come away.
It's the same with anything, and it would be the same.
I'm scared of falling for this one. That's what.
Yeah, well, that's very wise. I mean, like in one way, it is a wise thing to have, but in another way, the identity slips in, and then you suffer over it. But it is because because ultimately, what non-duality is the letting go of all ideas, including the idea of non-duality. And this really is about recognizing God in yourself. Now, God's a really dramatic word, and we can change it to...
I'm not keen on it. Rather higher power, or like you said, existence. Life, I like
existence, life. And really seeing that it's not you that's looking out of your body. And this is an experiential thing, but not an experiential thing for the person, because the person is always being experienced. But it's a movement back to that stillness and really being grounded in that. And the thing is when that first happens, there has to be a listening to other speakers about it, or there has to be a reading, or there has to be an understanding of it, or something in order to resonate with that and see that.
I think I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, it goes over my head, I don't think.
Yeah.
Intellectually, it's not.
But what should happen in non-duality is the more it's spoken about, and it's seen, and it becomes really clear, then there is a moving away from the teacher. There is a chucking away of the teacher, because the teacher's only needed to point it out, and then you don't need to live. It doesn't need to be an organization or a religion which you base your life in. Often these things exist because people are getting confused about the relative and the absolute. Like they feel lost in their life. They get into this subject and then they feel lost in their life. But the reason that they feel lost in their life is because there is a massive change happening. Like you begin to hear this subject and you're transforming from being an identified person to something boundless. So therefore, all your old ideals and goals will change. So then people feel lost after they've got into this subject for a period of time, and they want to follow someone. And this is where they then want their life to be all about this subject. So this is when the guru comes in, and then often they want to give up their life and go and live with the guru, or go and work in the guru or the church organization. But that's not really the answer. It's that there is a transformation happening and all your ideals are changing. So, when you used to think that money was important, or alcohol was important, or love was important, that's beginning to smash. And then people have this overwhelming sense of meaninglessness. But that's just a phase. And often in that phase, though, they go and give up everything and then live with these organizations or teachers or gurus.
I won't be doing that.
Yeah. You've already done it once, but for 4 years.
I think
when
I've
you,
done that one.
yeah, but you said it. You said it once. You said that when you said it. I was thinking you were going to say like 25 years. You were like, I'm a fool for having fell for it for so long. But 4 years.
It's a long time.
That's not so long.
It is when you puddle.
I was watching one recently where people have been involved in science. Well, I shouldn't really say exactly who it is, but and they had been involved for 30 years, and then they kind of came to the conclusion, because they weren't allowed to see their family anymore, that it wasn't true what was being told to them. But no thought process is true. And even though it sounds like I'm giving you lots of extra concepts to play with, I hope at the end of the day I'm also taking them all away. Because in one way I have to present new concepts for you to chuck out your old ones, but then they're not true either. So... Yeah.
Very enlightening. I do. I get what you say. I do. I get a lot of it. I think, and sometimes I think, is something really happening here, or what? I think a lot of it too is because I live in Yorkshire, in England.
Yeah.
There's very little to nobody.
Yeah, I can imagine it's very little. Actually, do you know what?
I miss that really.
Yeah. There is some stuff happening up north. There used to be a group.
Used to do.
Yeah.
I've seen Jeff Foster there, but it's closed down now.
It closed down. Oh yeah, so you have to go down to London if you want anything.
Oh,
yeah.
It's down London, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about going down to see Spira, Rupert Spira.
Yeah. Yeah, he used to have a place in Birmingham.
Talking, does it? I mean, it's brilliant, but it's so intricate. God almighty, Rupert, he could confuse me.
Yeah.
They all talk some sort of sense of his nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's more to do.
I like the stuff. It makes so much.
Yeah, and it's more, but it's more.
Not this God in the sky stuff. It's so practical. It's so close to you. I recognise it. I mean, I've only got this moment here. I sort of always recognise that.
Yeah, totally.
I can watch all the thoughts and the feelings. I say, yeah, well, that's right. And I can sometimes get there for a split second, and it's.
But I think the trust thing is more to do with you, maybe, that you don't trust that you'll ever get there. And then ultimately you won't get there because you don't exist. But in another way, like what I'm talking to now, like it goes through your filter of who you think you are, but actually it's that stillness which is listening, and it's that freedom which is listening, and it is your home. And I think the distrust most probably comes in the sense that the separate person feels like he won't get this, and that, when the suffering comes, it's like, what is this nonsense? And I think it's more maybe directed towards you. Like it's more your lack stuff, which is really juicy and great stuff to get into, because that's the core issues of being separate. And that's where it screws up most people's relationships and life, is that they feel not lovable, or they feel vulnerable and insecure.
Well, Jeff Foster, I remember seeing him, and I was in a bit of a depression at the time, and he said, what an invitation. I thought, what's he on about? But next time I go into one, I think, well, take notice of that now, and I try it. But it's just, I think I'm just coming out of one now. Like I said, I thought, well, phone, and now you got out of it, now you got it together. So I'm here anyway. Yeah,
and that's really beautiful, like saying that it's an invitation, because it's true. If it didn't hurt, we wouldn't investigate, because we're creatures of comfort. And if we could just get the tiniest little bit of pleasure out of something, we'd rather than do that than investigate what our actual experience is. And so in a way, it is a huge invitation when we suffer. But the mentality is like, no, get it away.
So when I'm low, then what should I do with that one?
When you what?
When I'm low, I do get low, I'm a depressive. What do I do with that bit?
Well, on practical, so there's two elements. There's the investigation side, and so when you feel depressive, there's the practical stuff that you can do for the person, but then on the other side, I would investigate your sensations. So I'd investigate, and you won't be able to do this because sometimes when you feel depressed, you just want to close everything out and watch TV or not be involved in anything. But if you can,
sort of a feeling.
Yeah.
It sets off the mood, it's like a mood.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mood, yeah. But if you go into the body and just explore where those sensations are happening, and be inquisitive to see if they are saying anything, and see what they're saying, and see if there's anything that you're believing about the present experience. So, because that mood, that hum, that underlying sense of depression, I reckon that it will more than likely be a sense of, underneath it will be a sense of, I don't want to be experiencing this. I don't want to be alive experiencing this.
Definitely, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and just explore where you feel it in the body, and explore how it colours everything and your habits around it. And I'm not talking about destination of where to get to, but just explore it and be open to just once a day, if you can do it once a day when you feel like that, an exploration of the bodily sensations. And don't try to get anywhere, just welcome it in, just sit with it and allow it to come in.
Accept it, that's how it is. Fair enough. If you want to go to sleep, go to sleep. Just go with it. So I think.
And then on the practical level, there's things that you can do, but maybe there's other things on the internet which you could look up about the exercise, the eating bananas, the eating cashew nuts. I'm sure you know all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to do exercise when that mood comes on. But
you can do them when you're coming out of it.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
It does its thing and then it goes.
Yeah.
I've learned to accept that, if you like.
Yeah.
That's a movement for me, but it's still so crap when you're going through it.
Yeah, it is. It's really intense. But I kind of, this is quite extreme what I'm going to say, and and I'm not a doctor, and I've never done scientific research into this, but I kind of feel like all of this stuff comes from separation. Like there can be low moods, but that depressive mood comes. Like there can be low moods or low energy. So you might have that in your body, that you have low energy and you have periods of low energy.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
So that's the chemical imbalance side. But that depressive side to it comes from, I think, the identification side of it, like that really darkness. Like that sense of feeling meaningless, that sense of the fear, yeah. And the sense of not wanting to be alive or not wanting to experience it, that I think is the identification with that depressive mood, because we're taught in our society that happiness is excitement, which isn't happiness at all. And we're taught that we've always got to be a certain way and we've got to be doing things. And so when you have these chemical imbalances and you have this huge lack of energy or drive to do anything, then the person becomes very negative and beats itself up, which gives it an extra kick. But I don't think that it will solve that level if you've got high energy and then low energies, or just really low energies. But that really awful side to depression, I think, comes from the absolute rejection of it, from that personal because you've always
rejection of the depression itself.
Yeah, you've always been told that you're not allowed to have lack of energy, that you've got to be a doer, and that your meaning is doing.
Right.
Your meaning
must be is that a bit more positive? I think it's half helped. I've stopped trying to fight through it now. When I feel better, I'll start doing something then. I think, is that good?
Sorry?
Is that good, do you think?
What's that?
Right track?
I missed what
are you ready?
Yeah.
When I'm really poorly, I'll just go with it.
Yeah.
And I try not to worry. That's how it is too. When it goes, it goes. And then that's my acceptance of it these days, best I can.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. I think that's really fantastic. Like total, and you've done nothing wrong for it to appear. It just is something that will come, and it's something that will go by itself. And the only added thing is, I would just explore, if you can, what's actually going on inside your body.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But the other side of it, the acceptance, because what's normally happening is on the unconscious level is that you're rejecting it, and you're telling yourself, not even consciously, that there's something bad and wrong about you for having this. And like this is the identification level.
Yeah, well, the self-worth just drops out of it. Straight away when you start feeling it.
Yeah.
When I start feeling it, no self-worth at all, it goes. But anyway, that's not what I didn't think. That's what I phoned you up for.
Well, this is what happened.
Talked a long time, haven't I?
Oh, that was nice speaking with you, Steve.
Anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for calling.
Phone in again sometime.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for the wonderful one-to-one session last week. So, my pleasure, and so helpful. Oh, love Marianne. Sorry. I didn't recognize your Skype. That was Lisa being a little bit fake, because I got totally caught. So I read the message and then I saw the name Anne and I was like, huh. And I couldn't get an image of who that was. And then I was like, oh, my pleasure. And then I saw the end bit and was like, oh, Marianne. Lisa got caught being a fake. She forgot who Anne was. We're so funny as humans. Hi, Ramon. Hi, Lisa. The best way to know you are streaming is looking at your Facebook page. I can't rely on getting an email from YouTube, so that solves it. Good, Ramon. Yes, guys. So you need to like my Facebook page or you need to subscribe. I don't understand these things as to why it works sometimes and not other times. It's beyond me. Hi, Susan. Hi, Lisa. Hi, the man you're speaking to is hard to hear, low sound. Oh, thanks for telling me. I totally forgot about looking. Why is that? Okay, let's look at the source settings. Source. Show source settings. Je ne sais pas. Je ne sais pas. Hi, Lisa. Love your handicraft. Sounds dualistic. Hi, Nick. You're looking good. So beautiful. Oh no, you're looking so good, Lisa. Beautiful. Ah, thanks, Nick. Can't hear him. Oh man. Hi, Lisa. Moods and feelings come and go, and I feel free until. Hey, Sebastian.
Hello.
Hello.
Lisa.
Hey, Sebastian. Everyone was saying they couldn't hear the last caller, but you're definitely making sound. Speak again.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Hi.
Hi. That's really super loud again.
Too loud? Like this? More?
That's okay. Yeah, just lower your voice a little. Thanks.
So it's okay. Good. I'm happy to hear you.
Fine. Nice. Yeah, you wrote me some questions last week, but I've forgotten what they were. You have to ask me again.
Okay.
In person.
Okay. The question was.
You're really
you said
super loud.
it's still okay.
You can't just lower your voice a little bit.
Like this?
Yeah. Well, just if you just speak quieter like that.
Okay. I speak quieter. It's difficult. It's difficult. Like.
Yeah,
Like this?
Okay, just give me a second and let me see. Why is this
How
happening?
about this?
No, it's really loud. Okay, so just let me
Really?
think practically about why this is happening.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's not you, it's me. I just can't work this out. Why is your voice so loud and mine so quiet?
I'm calling on the smartphone again, and I don't have options to choose, as it seems.
But now you sound like a normal sound. You're not so loud anymore. Did you do anything?
I put the mic a little bit more away.
Okay.
It's a little bit far away, next to my head.
Okay. Just let me just look in this sound thing and see if I've got any settings. Sound effects, output. Are you output or are you input?
Yeah. From your perspective, I'm input. I don't know. I don't know.
I'd have thought I was input.
I don't know.
Output. Yeah, headphones. Select a device. Yeah. Okay, so now try speaking.
Hi, Lisa. How is it?
Hello?
Hello? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh?
Yeah, that's not
Hello?
it. Okay, yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is it working? Working?
Yeah, it's working, but I don't understand why you're so loud.
I already put the microphone in the other direction
Yeah.
than I'm talking. My hand also is around the
Hello?
microphone. Hello? Do you hear me? Hello?
Hello? You're totally gone now, Sebastian.
How about, do you hear me now?
Yep, I hear you now. But it's really, really faint, just a tiny bit louder.
Louder than that?
Yeah, just a tiny bit louder.
This is the maximum, I would say.
Yeah.
Microphone is as close as possible. As close as possible to my mouth.
Yeah. So you've changed it to something else? Just stay like that, okay? I'll increase you from this side. Okay, great. Hello?
Hello? Is it okay now?
No, you're too quiet. It's really crazy. It seems to be more with you than anyone else, but okay.
Okay, that's really strange. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for that.
Just let me try and increase you more now. You've gone so quiet, but okay. Now try speaking.
How is it? How is it now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're super, super quiet. That's okay though.
Okay.
I'm going to increase you more on this side.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So somebody was saying maybe you should try without your headphones.
Okay, I try. Hi, do you hear me? Lisa?
Yes, I hear you.
How is it?
It's awful. Why don't you just try calling me back on Skype? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, now you're super loud again. Okay, so everybody else on Ustream, you're just going to have to turn your volume down when he speaks and turn your volume up when I speak. That's just the way it is. I don't know why it's doing this. There's some sort of setting in the computer that's obviously auto setting. And I've tried turning off as much as I can to stop that, but I have to look into it more. One day I'll be an expert. Hello?
Hi, is it?
It's super loud. So if you could
Can
just
we
try.
go now?
Yeah, we can go.
Super loud.
Yeah, it's super loud. So it will be hurting people's ears. So if you could just try your best to stay really keep your voice really mellow and don't get excited. Sorry. Or just stand away from your phone.
I can't go too far because otherwise I don't hear you anymore.
Yeah. But you could just maybe hold it away when you speak and then bring it back when you don't speak.
Okay, I try. How is it now? Is it now okay?
No, it's really loud.
So what do we do?
You can't move your phone any further away from your mouse?
Like this?
No, it's still just as...
Sorry?
It's super loud.
Sorry, I can't change it.
Yeah.
I think settings.
I think it's to do with my side.
Yeah, don't seem to be settings for volume on the...
Yeah. It seems to have gone really quiet now. I'm just trying to improvise and think how to do it. Because now it's gone.
Switch to to the PC version.
Yeah?
How about that?
Yeah, let's try. Let's try.
Okay, I call you.
Okay.
I call you again.
Bye. Hey, Sebastian. Hello? 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 Sebastian? Okay, so Sebastian's just changing settings, so I'll read out. Pythro. Pythro. Hi Lisa, I started to reserve some things during the day to just sit and do nothing and see what happens. I feel a lot of anger and pain coming up and I try not to resist. Oh. Hey Sebastian. Hello? Hello? And I try not to resist or escape into thinking. But like today, I sat for an hour angry, and when I finished, I still felt that anger in me. Is it sometimes just a longer process of acceptance with some of the stored emotions? Lots of love. Yeah, sure, sure. And just be creative with the anger. Like you can sit there, and when you're in meditation, you can just speak it out. But don't have the objective of trying to get rid of it. Just be interested in it. Just explore what's actually happening. You know, often we go into exploring these emotions or looking at these emotions in order to get rid of them. And that's not a very good, that attitude is just destined to fail because we have this idea of what we want, we have this destination of what we want, and then we're constantly trying to manipulate things to get there. And really life...
Lisa?
Hey, Sebastian.
Do you hear me now? I had to change some settings.
Yes, I hear you.
Is it better now? Too loud?
No, it seems about right.
Okay, then this seems to work.
Yeah, maybe it's people on their phones, but I can't. I'm just trying to. I'm going to check while we're speaking. I'm going to watch the preferences of Skype to see what's actually happening. But yeah, but carry on.
Good. So we got it. I'm very glad about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and I know now that maybe it is related to phones for other people that are calling in.
Yeah, and you don't hear your own voice?
Me?
Yes, you.
No, I don't hear. Well, I hear my
Okay,
own
that's
voice
good.
because when I speak, I hear it, but not through
Yeah,
the
not
speakers.
through mine. Okay, that's good. Okay, then we can go, I think.
Yeah, we can go. That's so bizarre that it's working perfectly now. So it really must be related to when people call in the phone.
Yeah, I better don't do this maybe anymore.
But I think it's to do with technology not syncing up properly. Like it should work through the phone.
Yeah, it should. I think so too.
Yeah.
So
nice of us.
where
Since
have
you had lots of stuff come up from what we talked about last time, I cannot remember what we talked about last time. But as soon as you begin to bring up that stuff, it will come again. It's just I can't. My brain just doesn't hold on to these things.
Yeah, it was about. You said that. I said that Tony Parsons said that.
Oh yeah, I remember now. I remember.
You can do anything about
yeah.
in quotations enlightenment.
Yeah.
Meaning the falling off of the I dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told you that it's just logical that nothing can be done for the apparent death of the I.
Yeah.
Because as long as there's trying, the I exists, and if there's no trying anymore, the I maybe does not exist anymore. So it's just logical. The one excludes the other.
Yes. Well, but then to say there's nothing you can do to get to that non-trying place isn't true either. That's just like saying there is something you can do, just in the opposite form. So which is it? Is there something you can do, or isn't there something you can do?
Is it a question?
Yeah.
For me, it seems that all trying leads to nothing.
Well, that could be. That could sound very positive. All trying leads to nothing. Woohoo! Like nothing because in wholeness.
I mean, it seems not to lead to the death of the I. It rather enforces the I, the sense of being someone. The more I try.
But what do you think is going to happen if you think that all spiritual trying isn't it? What do you think you're going to do?
I just leave this goal aside. I just continue living and practicing or not practicing how it feels good for me, and then it happens or it does not happen. This is what it means for me, you know. So I practice your feeling, what you describe, feeling your pain and things like this, and maybe sometimes for fun, self-inquiry or something like that, but not with the goal to
Well, that's really beautiful not to have the goal to get into enlightenment, because what is enlightenment anyway? Like it's just an idea that we share between ourselves in order to talk about something, but it's to the person, to the mind, it's just another fantasy, another daydream. So that's really beautiful. But I would say, like with this idea of there is nothing you can do, I would really strongly suggest that this is no different from there is something you can do.
So what you basically say is to drop all ideas.
Well, you can't drop all ideas because ideas are going to come when they come, but it's just that neither are true. It's not about doing or not doing. It's way more complicated and simple than that in a way. Like the idea that you can do this and you can enlighten yourself is a useless idea. The idea that you can't enlighten yourself is a useless idea.
Yeah.
Like both of them are useless. Like the one that says I can't, the people that are attracted to I can't are normally ones that feel more victim and have lower self-esteem, and the ones that are attracted to I can normally have higher self-esteem. And sometimes we flick between two. When we feel low about ourselves, we say we can't do it, and when we feel high about ourselves, we say we can do it. But neither's actually relevant to the subject. We're only ever drawn to what suits us as a person. Like we're drawn to the concepts which suit us as a person in that moment. And if we feel low about ourselves, then we're into more depressive stuff. So to identify with anything about spirituality is nonsense, but you can't stop identifying yourself. But what you can do is you can be aware of that. That when you're attracted to a concept, normally underneath that concept, maybe you feel disempowered, or maybe you feel lack. And when you're attracted to the positive concepts, then maybe you feel self-esteem and you feel good about yourself, but that's not it either. But that one will feel better, but that's not it either. That's the positive ego taking over. Your proud ego.
Long time I thought I can do something, but I still had low self-esteem.
Yeah.
But this made me very tensioned.
Yeah.
Do you say tension?
Yeah.
And it reinforces my ego, and it was pain for me. So
Yeah.
it's quite more relaxing to not think I can do something about
But the
it.
thing is if you take on the idea that you can't do something about it, you'll get yourself into depression.
No. At first it was depressing to hear that I can't do anything.
No, you'll get yourself into depression over time. I see it happen all the time. It's basically what will begin to take hold of it in your body is the apathy. It's the sense of feeling stuck, the sense of not being able to do it.
No, I think it feels like I'm over this. At first it maybe was like that, but I would not say that I feel stuck or what you say.
Yeah, okay. It's just I see it's happened so many times to people with these teachings, and it's just a misunderstanding, and it's just the ego taking over or the separate self taking over, but in the negative.
I would say it's not the case for me. So, but your point is?
I don't know. I can't remember what we started. What was the thing that we started with?
If there can be done anything about.
Oh yeah. So which one's
vanishing.
true? If there can be something that's done, or there can't be. Which one's more true?
I still believe in the second one, so not being able.
Well, that's okay. That's what you believe. That's what you believe. And if that makes you feel relaxed, but it will have a scorpion's tail on it.
Tony always repeats it, and his pupils in quotations. I remember it. It's just in my memory. Maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah, maybe. But maybe Tony's wrong then.
Yeah.
It will
So
have a scorpion's tail, I assure you. Any idea which feels good today will feel bad tomorrow. You can't wear anything to go home. There's a beautiful quote, actually, that I found the other day. I'll read it to you. Just, I have to pull it up 1 second. So most probably, let's have a look. It's a very small quote. It's not one of these huge long ones that will take me forever to read. A truth can walk naked, but a lie always needs to be dressed.
that reinforces what you say,
Yeah.
leaving concepts behind. Yeah, maybe there's not much sense in it to think about it. It just takes
No.
energy and
Yeah.
leads
This
not.
is what's happening. This is what's important. What's actually happening now. Not getting the right non-dual concepts. You never will.
Yeah.
They're just helpful for seeing what's not true. They're not helpful for becoming a new truth. And screw all of us teachers. Well, in the sense of like, don't take anything that we say as a truth, because it's not. No one can tell you the truth, even if they say they can. Even if they say that their truth is more truth than other people's truth, nobody can tell you a truth. This is what's happening, and this is mysterious. And thoughts are just here as a practicality. They're not actually here to describe the experience or reality. The suffering came from the identification with these thoughts, believing that they actually talked about our experience and who we were. But if you find relaxation in it, that's nice, but just be very aware that identifying with that thought, there's nothing you can do, will be depressive. You'll feel stuck and you'll feel trapped. It will highlight that sense in you, which will be in there while you feel separate, and it's great it comes to light, but just be aware of it. Because otherwise you'll begin to believe those thoughts are true if you're not aware of what's going on.
You said I have to be aware of what's going on to realize truth.
If you're not aware, it's not that you have to be aware to realize truth, but if you're not aware of what's happening, then you'll go into cycles of stories. You'll fall into cycles of stories. And it's not that you have to be aware, but they just have to come up into awareness, the personal awareness.
Why do they have to?
Otherwise, they'll keep on circling.
Circling.
They'll keep on playing.
Uh-huh.
So in the personal awareness, once you become more clear about what's destructive and what's making you suffer, then those dynamics will stop appearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed it also.
Just like if you have a stone in your shoe, but you don't understand you have a stone in your shoe, and then someone says, you have a stone in your shoe, then you can take it out. It's not like you can take out your thoughts, but just being aware of what they're doing. So if you're sitting in front of someone and you're trying to get them to like you, and you're doing all these things and bat flipping and trying to impress them, and really you feel uncomfortable and you're not enjoying yourself, if you become aware of that, then you will stop wanting to impress them, because you'll see that it's not actually bringing you any pleasure. It's an old pattern playing out of wanting to be loved. And it will never be satisfied by making them happy.
Yeah, it brings relaxation to be aware, I think.
Yeah. And this is just what happens in the personal body. This isn't about getting to liberation, this bit, but this seems to simultaneously go with waking up and with freedom. Is that the person becomes more aware of itself. It's not so deluded about what's happening. It's not living so many lies. But ultimately that stillness is right here. That stillness is ever present. And no matter how much you're suffering or not suffering, it's there. No matter what you think or don't think, it's there. And it's a total mystery. And it's beyond all those personal dynamics and you being aware of the personal dynamics. But these things seem to happen at the same time.
Hey,
Yeah.
Liz, you're back. Okay, there was a connection problem, I think.
Oh, really? I thought that I'd just stunned you into silence. I thought you were just in silence. Hello?
Oh, okay. It was told on my screen that the connection was lost.
Oh, yeah.
However, so for you, it simultaneously appeared that you became more and more aware of your patterns and this stuff, before you awakened, in quotations.
And it carries on, the becoming more aware of Lisa's patterns. Like that carried on after that big change happened. So there's greater and greater understanding ever since that awakening of what it is to be woman, what it is to be Lisa, what it is to be in this society. Like it goes deeper and deeper all the time on the human level.
Okay, so it seems that awakening is independent to these patterns.
Well, it is in one way independent, but I rarely meet people that are totally ignorant of their patterns and their behaviors prior to awakening. I mostly meet people that are really understood, that they think, that they have feelings, that it doesn't mean it's true, that your projections aren't true. It doesn't mean that they've stopped acting them out, but that they normally have great understanding of what it is to be human, more than most of our society, and they understand seeking and they understand looking for God in things. But my patterns still go on, and Lisa still sometimes gets caught in old patterns. And it's not even that she gets caught in old patterns. You can't even really say it like that, because Lisa is Lisa, and she might respond out of fear or anger, but it's not really old patterns. It's just being human. And these things, I think that over time, when that change happens, that these things integrate more and more into the body, so you become more and more balanced and more open as a human. But At the same time, it's not really a place which you can arrive at or end at and say you're done, because there's always possibility to evolve as a species and to change. Even though ultimately there's nowhere to get to and there's no destination, we are animals that, by the nature of us, we're learning and updating. That's what the human does. It understands, it learns, it updates. That's what most animals do. And they evolve to that principle. So I think this is something that, and I love that idea that on the human form, you never can have an enlightened being. You can never say this one's more enlightened than the other. On the human form, there can be that energetic awakening that happens, and some people that hasn't happened to, and some people that has. But then after that, there's this change that can keep growing into humanity. And we might be, if it goes into humanity in thousands of years' time, we might be really different species with that realization.
Would you say that there's an inner guidance system that,
It depends how you use that. I mean, yes
like,
and
like
no.
intuition,
Yeah, but it's not your intuition. It's not your inner guidance. It's there all the time. Like it's happening. But we often see ourselves in relationship to it, that we're in relationship with our inner guidance, but actually all there is, in a way, you could say, is inner guidance and the flow.
because in my case, I always feel like being so disconnected from my intuition or inner guidance.
It's not really your inner guidance. It's basically what happens is the person just becomes more and more honest. So you don't have to get more in touch with your inner guidance as a positive. You just have to be more honest with your lies and see that they're not true. So, often when you're in front of people, so say if we take that for an example, you meet new people, often we have a dynamic that we feel we need to chat or cover the silence. And often the reason that we do it is because it actually creates more distance between us. It makes us feel more separate, so therefore we feel more safe. So in a way, we often chat not to connect, but we chat to disconnect. Not all the time, it changes. And so all that needs to happen there in that instrument is just becoming aware of all these dynamics. So when you're in front of people, like just seeing if you want to chat or not. If it's uncomfortable, then more than likely you don't want to chat, or you're trying to chat in order to get something from that person. The same can go with eating, the same can go with your work. And you've got to go back to what the experience is. Am I enjoying this? We normally have an idea that we enjoy work or we enjoy socializing, but actually we don't. We feel stressed when we're doing it. So just investigating it. So it's not that you've got to find your inner guidance. You've just got to see what's not true. What's the lie?
And how do I see it if I think it's real? Or
well, basically, if you're lying to yourself and you're living in something that's not true, it will be hurting what you're trying to make yourself do. So if you're speaking with people and trying to be social, your inside will be in inner turmoil. It'll be hurting you. It'll be like conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And so really, in that social situation, you then have to explore what's happening. And more than likely, it's because a lot of the time in social situations, you're trying to get love. And trying to get love from an object isn't your natural flow. Your natural flow is to move to that which is pleasurable, but not to try and find home in those things. That's the lie. That's what sends you off course, is that you're trying to get love from things, and it will never work. So just keep exploring what's happening, and you can tell when it's going offline because you feel contracted and it's hurting. You're resisting it. You can just feel it. And it's happening all the time. So you might be having a conversation with someone and someone says, oh, you're angry. And then your instant response is, I'm not angry, da 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 da, how dare you say that? And then actually you feel inside, and you can feel that conflict. But we often are living in our story. So in that story, we wanted to be a nice person. So we didn't want to be seen as angry. So then when we were seen as angry, it doesn't match with what we want to be. But we want to be something, and we want to be somebody in order to be loved. And love is your nature. So just see those dynamics playing out. Be honest with yourself. Not mentally honest with yourself, in your body, in your sensations.
For me, it's mostly about decisions.
Yeah.
I don't feel any preference for one option. It's just fear, maybe to choose the wrong or something that will hurt.
Yeah. You do have a natural preference, it's just shadowed by the fear.
Yeah, it is, I think.
So then you just keep needing to explore what's at the root of that fear.
Maybe suffering, fear of suffering. That
I would say that at the root of it is the fear that you're alive. But you can take it slowly down in steps. So when you come across that decision, you can just be honest with yourself about the decision that you're afraid of. And then just keep being more and more honest, because they won't like me, because I'll be alone, because I'll be moneyless, because I'll be kicked out of society, because I will die. And when you get to because I will die, you know that you're afraid of being alive, because you're not ultimately who you truly are, can't live or die. And so to die means that you are alive, but you're not.
alive, you say alive?
Yeah, but you're not. You're not alive and you can't die. This instrument isn't alive. What is alive and looking now is that boundless freedom. This instrument is like a microphone. The microphone doesn't hear, it's us that hears from the speakers. It's an instrument.
It's an instrument.
Yeah. So this is an instrument, it's like a microphone or a camera. And it's not the camera that sees, and it's not the microphone that hears. So right now, what is it that hears and sees?
Nothing, maybe.
Yeah, not a thing, yeah. Or you could say everything.
Or everything. So you say the root fear is to die, which is an illusion?
Yeah. You cannot die because you've never been alive. Isn't that beautiful?
If this could only be known, always be known.
It is always known, but you're looking for that knowing in thought.
But it's not present.
It is present. It's the only thing that's ever been present.
It's
right here.
shadowed.
It's shadowed because you're looking for the answer in what you know. It's in what you don't know.
I, for example, have to decide between two flats now.
Yeah.
But I don't really see that this the uncertainty which one I want to choose, I can't trace down to the fear of death, to be honest. It's more like I fear to suffer in the end, that I don't like the flat, that I blame myself, things like this.
Okay, so just go into that feeling. Do you feel that feeling in your body?
Oh yeah, I do. In the
Whereabouts?
heart. My
In the
heart
heart.
is like pain.
Yeah. Okay, so so this feeling comes from the sense that you will not be loved. If you suffer, you will not be loved. If you pick the wrong thing, there's something wrong with you, and that you will experience pain from it, and that you're not loved. That's why it hurts in the heart area.
I'm not loved. It's not clear to me. I let it sink in.
So we can work through it. So if you just shut your eyes
Yeah,
and just think of both of the flats,
yeah.
and what happens if you pick the wrong one?
I will have to blame myself,
And what's wrong with
I think.
blaming yourself?
Oh, blaming hurts very much. It's like I'm in a deep black hole then.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit like
And what
self-hatred.
do you blame yourself about? Like in what way? You say that you're a failure?
Maybe some years ago I insulted myself, but in the meanwhile it's more energetical, but maybe I say what do I say to myself? I shouldn't have done this. Why have you done this? You idiot, or
Okay.
some other
Yeah.
insults. It's completely based on illusion. I know, yeah, but
So you've hurt yourself, and
yeah,
it's your fault, and therefore you're a bad person. There's something wrong with you. I'm just going with what you think.
totally, yes, yeah,
So there's something wrong with you. And
yeah.
what's the issue with there being something wrong with you? What's underneath that? If there's something wrong with you?
I shouldn't be wrong.
But what does it take away if there's something wrong with you? With you?
But it takes love. It takes love
Yeah.
away.
This is basically, if there's something wrong with you, then you can't be loved.
By who?
By anyone. It's just a habit that you've got into. Basically, you fear being rejected by everybody. I know it sounds really weird, but if you have a story that there's something wrong with you, then you're isolated from others, or you're isolated from love.
Yeah.
And so really what your biggest hurt is, if you get the flats wrong, is that you're not good enough to be loved. That no one will ever love you. And this is where seeking comes, and this is where I say be honest. Because it's not really the flat that you're interested in or getting the right flat. It's that you're not lovable, and that you've got to prove that you're lovable by making the right choices. And this is why it hurts and causes you contraction till you go there and you just feel fear. And really, when you go into the two beings, one will bring you more pleasure than the other. When you drop all that fear and drop the illusion, and you just pick that one. That's the guide. Not any reason, oh, this is easier, that's easier, this is easy. It's just that there'll be one that brings more pleasure than the other. But the thing is that's not based when you're feeling separate, because when you're feeling separate, you're often the illusion of looking for love in time. This is the addiction of all separate persons. Is they're trying to get love and trying to get away from fear. So just always honesty, like trying to trace back where it comes from, but not too intellectually, and then seeing where you feel it in the body, that the heart area hurts, and just let it hurt and burn. and see that how many times you've acted that out before, like with yourself, or feel it from when you were younger as well. You'll have done that.
So it's a pain that is rooted in my early childhood, you think?
It comes with, when separation happens, we identify, we have two initial feelings that arise, and these feelings are important. Like, it's important to have all feelings as a human being, but we identify with two major feelings, and that is fear that this world is going to hurt us. So we identify with fear of being a separate person that's in relationship with a big, huge, wide world out there. And we identify strongly with love, because we separated and we feel like this love, this unconditional love, has been taken slightly. As a child, it's not taken wholly, like there's still a knowing of it, but there's a sense, there's also the sense that love has been abandoned, or that this love has been taken. So then what happens is, because we identify strongly with these two emotions, then we get into the pattern of trying to always seek for security and seek for love. And, this is why people do such difficult jobs, why they make themselves sick by working, why people do terrorist acts. Is actually motivated not by the circumstances they were found in, but by strong identification with these two emotions of seeking for love and trying to avoid fear. But these things, it's important to have them. So it's important to have a natural interest in being loved by other humans and wanting connections with other humans, but the separate self over-identifies with them. And it actually leads to a lot of suffering, because by seeking for these two, this safety and love, and being obsessed about it, not even conscious that it's obsessed about it, what it actually does is it encourages it. It encourages this feeling of feeling unstable and insecure, and it encourages the feeling of feeling lack of love. So what happens in separate people is, over time, these two feelings grow and grow more and more in those people. And so then eventually people begin to get into spirituality, because it begins to hurt. Some people it hurts quite young already. They're more sensitive and they can feel that discomfort. And there's nothing, I'm not saying in any way stop seeking for these two things. I'm just pointing out the dynamic. While you feel separate, in a way you have to seek for these things. Like if you try and stop seeking for them, what you'll do is you'll make that body-mind depressed. Or you'll identify with, I can't get it. It's pointless. I'll never get there.
So it's rooted in the fear of not being loved or feeling love.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's why you get so tense over it. And just from learning that many times, as a kid, feeling stressed about this, and it just being encouraged. Yeah. And so now you've got a fear of it. And so therefore you can't naturally choose. You're choosing through the lens of, I'm going to make a mistake, or an over-emphasized fear of it. But the fear and wanting love from people is a very natural feeling, and that's not got to go. But you've just got to see, when you're trying to find wholeness there, when you're trying to find completion there, that's when it's the problem. Like I still prefer to be liked by people than to be hated. I prefer peace rather than disharmony with people. But I don't think that that's going to complete me anymore by having peace, but my efforts will be to have peace.
Yours as a awakened being, in quotation.
I don't really want to call myself an awakened being. I just
in quotations. In quotations.
In quotations or not, I am as I am.
So you don't look for love anymore?
I mildly, but not as a completion. It doesn't complete me. But
Okay, yeah.
you know, if I'm with a friend or with a lover, I much prefer them liking me than disliking me.
Mm-hmm.
And so there will be an effort to convince them to like me if they don't like me, or to whatever it is. But at the same time, it can't complete you. Nothing in this world can complete you. Your completion is that love, that essence that's never found in things. But
For
it's also,
me,
yeah.
for me, it feels like more like running away of pain than looking for completion. But maybe it's both.
It's kind of really similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, trying to run away from pain. It sometimes feels better actually looking for love than running away from pain. You know, if you're looking for love, you think you're just about to get it, they're just around the next corner. But that can also be really painful as well.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very
Thanks,
much for your
Sebastian.
X-course.
Yeah, nice to speak with you
Thanks,
again. Thanks.
you brought
Bye.
some light into my patterns.
Nice.
I'm grateful for that.
Good. Thank
I,
you.
I hope you can take another caller
Yeah.
still,
Thanks.
so
Okay.
that others have the possibility to call you too.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks, Sebastian.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye. Hi, Andrea. Thank you for showing me a deep way into more honesty. Love you. I experienced that honesty comes with aliveness. Yeah. Nice. I love you too, Andrea. Hey, Joanna. Hi, Diego. Hi, Zolt. Zolt. That sounds a great name. Zolt. Hi, Esbon. Maybe. A beautiful conversation, this. Ah, nice. Thanks. Hi, Renate. Nice. Hi, dear Lisa. May I ask a question? Oh, no, I didn't. Kilometrovov. Yeah, I think I pronounced that right. Kilometrovov. Does anyone else get this? That when they talk a lot, they get a sore mouth? I think because when I'm at home, I just spend a lot of my time just talking to Khaleesi, and that's not that much talking. And sometimes when I do talk, my mouth gets tired. Pardon me. It was disgusting. I'm ashamed. It happened. Okay. Hi, dear Lisa. May I ask you? It seems there are two approaches in teaching Advaita. But you didn't say Advaita, you said Advaita. Advaita. It's like the Indian way. Advaita. First is, look, I'm not criticizing your spelling. My spelling is terrible, but I'm just having fun. First is when your master talks. First is when master talks away from the point of view of wholeness consciousness and regards to disciple as this wholeness. He, she do not make comparisons even when disciple can't understand. Second is when master, my master Cairns. Oh no, I'd be mistress, wouldn't I? I don't know what I would be. Master, mistress. I can't be mistress, that sounds sexual. Anyway, okay. Second is when master seemingly accepts belief of disciple about his identity as only body-mind and talks with him on the level and encourages him for struggle, practice, or whatever. It seems that first approach may be dangerous because disciple can grasp points just intellectually and use it to strengthen the ego. Second approach may be dangerous when master talks with group of disciple and someone from the group needs to hear direct pointing to truth but may not accept limited version because of trust of the master. What can you say about this, Lisa? Sorry for a long question. I hope you understand what I mean. Well, let master think about that. You know, hey, Lute, sometimes life is just perfect. We got to be wary of this bad ego. We got to be wary of this master that speaks like this and this master that speaks like that. Maybe you're just hearing exactly what you need to hear in exactly the right moment, in exactly the right place. And it's all perfectly happening and way beyond your intellectual comprehension. And maybe Killer Mitrov, you're as much a master as anybody else. Or maybe you're a mistress like me. Mistress Lisa. Basically what I'm saying is, you know, don't worry about this shit. Just another thing to worry about. Just go back to what your experience is. And just being open to listen and hear non-duality. Back here, weren't too keen on getting wet. Oh, hi, Lisa. Moods and feelings come and go, and I feel free until one I find hard to stomach stays and the struggling begins again. It seems that the mechanism that claims thoughts and actions for the self acts so fast that we miss the moment of identification. Could you talk about that? Impossible, because who would even really grasp the moment of identification? It's just something that happens. And it just, you know, you don't even make... Julio, sorry. It always throws me your gut when I read. Julio, you really just don't give that side of it too much of attention. Just give the side of being honest. Just being honest as you can. You know, and if you've been in a lie of a story for 2 hours, that's what's happened. And then we just start again. Like every moment is a new beginning. For us, it's not too bad. He's too soft. Back here. Yeah, yesterday I was cycling with Khaleesi in the rain. She seems to love it. It was quite nice. But I got soaked. Hi, Lisa. The best way to know... Oh, I think the same happened with someone else. Oh. Susan. No sound. Never mind. When you say he... Oh, yeah, okay, Steve. Okay, sounds good. Sebastian. Ah, thanks, Steve. Yeah. Yeah, it might also be dependent if people have got headphones in or not. Because if you've got headphones, I think it ticks. Like, so when it gets really loud, it really ticks and rings in your ear. Hi, Lisa. In your experience, how do objects appear in your perception? Is there no longer any sense of physicality or division? Just colours without separation? No, it just doesn't feel like somebody's experiencing whatever's appearing in front. There's simply what's appearing in front. So there's this expansion that happens. It used to feel like something in here was looking, and then it's just everything looking. Hey, Luton.
Wait.
I had some good ones yesterday. I like these little emoticons.
Yep, I really am this fabulous. Hard to believe, I know. If at first you don't succeed, come on, sweetie. Come on. Kissy, kissy.
Hi, Marian. I just wanted to say thank you for helping me see how to express my feelings last week. Skipping that part to see the thinking wasn't true, kept them alive. Now, as they pop up, I express them to my cat, and then somehow they seem to dissolve. Thank you for your help. Ah, that's a pleasure. Yeah, we're always...
Kissy, kissy.
Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm finding it funny. Wow. Memes. Memes. Hello. My motivation for achieving themes seems to be gone. Career, studios. In neutral moment, it doesn't exist. But in low moments, it's a bit frightening. Could you help me get off the hook here? Yeah, it's frightening because, you know, the whole of society is at such a strong pace and such a fast pace. You compare yourself to others and then suddenly you feel left behind. But it's all a mental creation that exists in time. So it's your comparison to other things. But in the moment, if there's no motivation, there's none. And when there needs to be, it will pop up. And maybe there will be something about career that pops up in the present moment. But, you know, normally we hold so strong to our motivations, like our dream of our career that's going to come, or our dream of being successful, and it's all bullshit. It's all there just because you don't feel valid enough as what you are. Boys, it's just this moment, what's happening? Getting up, going to work, driving the car, cooking dinner, sitting at the table. Okay, memes. This is long. Hi, Lisa. The question that I have is a bit more complex. Oh, yes? You're a bit more complex than other people, are you? It has to do with mention. I don't know what that word is. Mention, and it's a lure, but I'm interested. A lure. I seem to not be able to be in the neutral state. What neutral state? It's never neutral being a human. I am in a vicious cycle where I give energy to what is not real, which makes it real, of course. When I follow through in one of the illusions of my mind, I eventually get hurt. In some situations, okay, that's enough memes. Just keep listening to Nonduality and exploring sensations. I love you, darling. It's okay.
Me love you. Yeah, me love you. Me love you, me love you, me love you.
I'm just not going to buy into you telling me how awful things are for you. It's just this. It's a story. Okay, guys, that's enough for tonight. I'm going out for dinner. I'm going to have a vodka or two. Then I'm off to bed. That's my day's work done. What have I got to say? I shall see you on Sunday. And, live well and prosper.